We are back on SpongeBob Tower Defense, and we're going to be testing the last set of attack types that we need to test, and that's going to be AoEs. Over the last few days, I have been testing all of the attack types. I've managed to do Line, Splash, Single Hit, and I managed to do Pierce, all 4 of the other attack types. I will be including spawner units amongst the AoEs. I know it's kind of a cheat, but it is. All the spawners have AoE, just a little bit of extra damage coming from the units. But with that being said, we do have to get the team together, so let's go ahead and start picking out the team. Starting with the first member of the team, of course, it is going to be Sand Robot. That was the first exotic release that was an AoE. Then, of course, we had Mimic Bob come out right after. And immediately after that, we also had the Cyclops get released. So we have our 3 AoE exotics, all 3 that are exotics. Then the next 3 are a little bit on the newer side. Of course, we have the Captain Zack, one of the best units, if not the best unit in the game. Then we do have Duradon. It does say he's a splash unit, but I can show you guys in game, he's actually an AoE. So we're going to be bringing him for this run. And last but not least, one of my new favorite units, one of the funniest units in this game, it's going to be Wormy. Of course, I do have to make sure they all have the right traits, which is just this Duradon. I gotta get Sidekick instead of that secret formula. And just like that, we have all of the traits correct. So let's go ahead and hop into a boss battles. My guess would be this is probably going to be the worst boss battles time that we can have, only because it is an AoE. So let's go ahead and hop straight into a boss battles. We're going to be doing Lionfish tier 5, just like all of the other tests, and we got to see how well this boss battles is. We're loaded up inside of the battle. Let's go ahead and start this, and let's see how long these 6 AoEs take to take out one boss. I'm actually surprised it's not as bad as you might think. I think it's mainly because of the Captain Zack and the Duradon. The Wormy's also pretty strong too, so that would also make sense. But it's sad to say that the 3 units that aren't going to be an exotic are going to be the 3 units that are doing the most amount of damage. But we did get a shiny Lionfish. That's kind of a W. Maybe that means good luck for these AoEs when we hop into this Endless. So, of course, with all of these overpowered units that we are going to have, we do not have enough money to place down a unit before we leak. So we're either going to have to get an alt or get a friend to come help us. So I am here with Ash just for them to place a starter for me. I appreciate them so much. I'm going to go ahead and start this. We are here loaded up into Con Street A, and I just need enough to place this Duradon just so I can show you guys that this thing is AoE. And you guys are going to see just how fast I drain the entire map. You guys are going to see it if they stop placing Muscle Bobs, but watch this. Boom, everything's gone. That's how you could see that this thing is actually an AoE. Ash is going to be leaving. W, Ash, for placing a starter for me. I cannot thank them enough. Let's go ahead and start placing down these units, though. I'm probably going to need to place something different than this Duradon right here. We're going to need to make sure we're placing everything proper. I know they're all AoEs, but I need to make sure that we have enough of the exotics around the area of effects, because the closer that all of these units are to the exotics, the more damage that they do. And I just realized that doesn't matter because I'm not even going to be using abilities anyways. So I don't even need to place them close. I can place all of these wherever I want. That's just how good and the perks that come with AoEs. So let's go ahead and just start placing everywhere. Why not? We'll place the Captain Zacks in like my favorite spot right over here by the house. We'll place the Wormies wherever. As long as they've got full map coverage, I am unbothered. So we've got everything placed, and I'm actually going to ask you guys before I start upgrade everything, because it's going to take a while for that to upgrade. But go ahead and leave your guesses down below on how far do you think all of these units are going to get. I think with how insane all of these AoEs are, I think this is going to be the second best out of any of the attack types, which means I think this thing is going to get 900 plus. I would say 937 to be specific. You guys let me know, though. We gotta wait until we do have enough coins to start upgrading everything. I could probably start working from all the secrets and up, which maybe I should. Let me go ahead and just start with the Duradon. The Duradon's doing 919,000 damage, 0.7 on the SPA, and 90.7 on the range. Not too bad for the Duradon. Let's go ahead and upgrade this all the way to max. It's doing 1.2 million damage, almost 1.3. 0.6 on the SPA, and then 117.7 on the range, which means we are getting full map coverage. I was a little worried for a second because of how big these things are, because I placed it all the way back here. Next, we do have the Wormy. Actually, we'll do the Captain Zack first. 919,000 damage, 0.4 on the SPA, and 127.7 range. If we upgrade this all the way to max, it's going to be doing 1.2, almost 1.3 million as well. 0.4 on the SPA, and 165.7 range. I think what this thing has better than Duradon is the attack speed might be a little bit faster. Actually, it looks like Duradon might be attacking just a little bit faster, even though it does have a higher cooldown. Next, we do have the Wormy, though. It's going to be doing 1.1 million damage off the rip, 0.4 on the SPA, and 127.7 on the range. If we upgrade all the way to max, it's going to be doing 1.6 million damage, 0.4 on the SPA, and 165.7 range. I think that's the same range, yep, as Zach, but more damage and the same cooldown on them both. But the question is, who is attacking faster? It looks like they're attacking the same right now, but it might make a difference on when we actually have a bunch of enemies in. Next, we'll do Patrick's Sand Robot first. 160,000, 0.5 on the SPA, and 77.3 on the range. This is so underwhelming for an exotic compared to all the new units that we've been getting. But if we upgrade all the way to max, it's doing 223,000 damage, 0.5 on the SPA, and 100.3 on the range. It might have even been smarter for me to bring some of the other new AoEs because these are just underwhelming, especially without using abilities. Next, we do have the Mimic Bob, though, and we're almost at enough to upgrade it. But starting out at 206,000 damage, 0.5 on the SPA, and 80.6 on the range. If we upgrade all the way to max, it's going to be doing 287,000 damage, 0.4 on the SPA, and 104.6 range. Just another underwhelming unit, and Cyclops is going to be right up there with them. We are still waiting for more cash to upgrade this Cyclops, but let's go ahead and start checking out the stats now. It starts out at 229,000 damage, 0.6 on the SPA, and 79 range. If we start to upgrade all the way to max, we can kind of see how much it's going to be doing, but it's going to be doing 319,000 damage, 0.5 on the SPA, and 102.5 on the range. This is probably the best unit out of the three, but not even close to what these three are doing. We'll be back, though, when it does start to get a little bit more difficult. I think 700 is going to be easy for these guys. We'll be back at around 650. We're on wave 630 now, and as you guys can see, obviously no struggle. The Dirty Bubble did get a little bit of progression, though. I did upgrade everything already, so maybe it's not as far as I thought it was going to be. I definitely thought it was going to be 900 plus, but we still have to wait and see. I think the AoE is going to cover for a lot of damage. We're on wave 729 now, and if I'm not mistaken, there should be a big boss. Yep, right here. Let's see how far this one gets. It didn't make it to the first turn, but it is getting kind of far, so maybe it's going to be really close. It might be dead center in the middle of where everything else placed in the endless, which would be in between Line and in between Pierce. So we're on wave 813, and this is where we ended up dying out when it came to being the single hit team. This is going to be our first accomplishment by completing this Dirty Bubble, but it's starting to get really close. Soon is going to be where the Line units went out, though. It's going to be in about 15 waves. I'm pretty sure it was the next big boss, if not a little bit sooner due to like some big slow anchovies. Either way, it should be at the next boss. So here is the 827 Dirty Bubble, and if we can beat this one, that means that AoE did do better than all of the best Line units that we can have. There it is. Now we are now aiming for, I think it was about 896 or something like that. That was what the Pierce ended up landing at. We're on wave 869, and if I'm not mistaken, we are more than likely going to leak into this Dirty Bubble unless it's close. No, it was still about 16 million health left, so I think about now is when we start checking all the damage numbers, because I'm really curious on who performed the best out of all of these AoEs. We're going to go ahead and pull up the unit tab. Let's check the first Muscle Bob. It's looking at about 700 million. If we check the Cyclops, it's 1.25, so just straight up damage. Cyclops is better than Mimic Bob. The Sand Robot is right in the middle of them. He's about to reach 1 billion damage right now. What about the rest of them? All at about the same. Same thing for the Cyclops. Let's check the Captain Zack. This is at 5 billion, 5 billion, and 5 billion. The Wormies at 4 billion each. And then it looks like the Duradon is at 2.5. So Zack is doing the best AoE. If you want to bring an AoE in your endless challenges, this is definitely the unit to go. A maxed out Captain Zack. But if you can't get that, the next best is going to be the Wormy. Here's going to be our next leak. There it is, another Dirty Bubble, but can we, I think we're going to get the same amount of waves as the Pierce units. I think these are going to tie it because these are not going to leak to the big slow anchovies. It's bound to only die to the big Dirty Bubble. It looks like I spoke too soon. These big slow anchovies are getting really close. Hopefully we don't leak to these two. If we don't leak to these two, I'm pretty sure we do get through the rest of them. But we are not getting through this Dirty Bubble. 896, which is the same amount of waves as the Pierce units for 57.37 billion total damage. A total playtime of 52 minutes. Not too bad for the AoE units. Now you guys can help me decide on what is the best units the best tier, let me know. The best endless was by far going to be the Splash. It wasn't even close. It was by about 100 waves that it was a difference. So I'd have to say Splash at number 1, and then I'd have to say maybe this one. I'd have to say AoE definitely 2, and then it would be Pierce number 3. Then I would have to go single hit targets as number 4, just because it is the best boss battler. And then at number 5, I would definitely have to go with Line. It was the worst performer out of all of them. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm gonna put AoE at number 3, and then we're gonna put Pierce at number 2 because Pierce was better at boss battles. Overall, in my opinion, that means that they should be adding line units to the game. We are getting new conch summons, so either a line unit, a single hit target, or even a new spawner, because a new spawner would go crazy. That is going to do it for today's video, though. I hope you guys enjoyed this entire series that we did of the best attacking types. If you guys did, go ahead and leave a like down below, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to turn on those post notifications so you guys don't miss out on any future videos or updates. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace.